Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and in this video I'm going to give you my thoughts on episode 3 of the Mandalorian season 3, entitled Chapter 19, The Convent. Been left wanting with the opening 2 episodes of this season so far, so I was very pleasantly surprised not just by the runtime of this episode, clocking in at just over 50 minutes in all, but also how it was structured and the wealth of information contained. There will be spoilers, you have been warned. We kick off in the mines of Mandalore after last week's big reveal. I guess I can say it now, it's been a week. Spoilers for episode 2, but the mythosaur is alive and living in the living waters. It's a really cool thing for Bo-Katan to have seen last week. And that's the first potential twist in this week's episode. It doesn't seem like Din saw it. Bo isn't telling him. Does this mean that she will use this to her advantage to try and get back the Darksaber and lead her people again? I don't know what they're going to do with her character, but I'm here for it. So much potential being set up between her and Din. It's fantastic. But our duo don't have much time for reflection on their experience, as out of nowhere a squad of TIE interceptors appear and open up on Bo-Katan's gauntlet fighter. You've probably already gathered that I love a good dogfight, and this one is just as good as the season opener. This is what I love about Star Wars, the switch from space dogfighting to inner atmosphere, weaving through canyons, using the terrain. It's really good. It's a well shot, well paced dogfight. We even get a Mando hot drop so Din can get into the N1 and take the fight, basically come at them from a different angle. They absolutely just destroy these interceptors. It's really cool. It's great, and I love how it leans into this group of, I think it's 5 or 6 squadrons just appear out of nowhere. They come in, they're attacking Bo. Din does the jump pack hot drop thing, gets in the N1, just basically takes them all out. The N1 is such a cool, it's built for this kind of dogfight. It's so cool to see it in action. And there's this whole interplay of them saying, oh, it's like an imperial lord and like an outlaw or something, and then the sensors go and a load of TIE bombers have broken atmosphere and have blown the crap out of Bo-Katan's castle. Like, this is not a small raiding force, this is a full-on imperial attack fleet. Don't see any ships, which is really interesting, but it's time for Bo and Din to get the hell out of there. And Din knows just where he thinks might be safe. Q jump to hyperspace, and we switch to Coruscant, where we finally get a wider view of this world, the state of the galaxy, sort of. It's not quite like Andor, but I really like how this whole section is, and seeing what's going on with sort of the old Imperial factions, how they're reintegrated into society in the New Republic, the aristocrat view of the whole. Like, there's a throwaway line that basically links in the higher ups, the rich, the wealthy in Coruscant. They don't really see the difference between the Empire, the New Republic, or the Rebels. It doesn't matter to them. They were untouched by the whole war. It's a throwaway, but it's a really good line. And we focus on Dr. Pershing. First seen in season 1, I think it was season 1. He's an Imperial scientist claiming amnesty post the fall of the Empire. Well, the fall of Moff Gideon's Empire. Basically anyone who served the Empire, I'm not sure if this is captured or willing participants, but they've been granted amnesty by the New Republic and are here on Coruscant, well, what we see on Coruscant, living in a shared habitation block. Think student accommodation. They're all wearing the same plain blue uniform, and they're now known predominantly by a little reference code, so an ID tag basically. It's a letter and a number reference instead of a name. Dr. Pershing is L52. People also call him by his name, the people that know him, but on the whole their identity has been taken away. This rehabilitation program feels a lot like a camp, and there seem to be some brainwashing going on as well, because quite a lot of the people that we speak to are constantly saying how they're trying to serve the New Republic. It's very sinister. And it also draws interesting parallels from our own history post-World Wars, and I feel that it just gives an interesting spin on the New Republic. As someone who is moderately aware of the Star Wars lore, I know nothing about the New Republic. I didn't watch Resistance, I don't care. The sequel trilogy didn't do anything for me. We don't know, from my perspective, I don't know what this New Republic is and what it's all about. This is an interesting view into how they're dealing with the fall of the Empire. And this is, 5-6 years after the Empire fell? Especially how they're dealing with the Imperial equipment and ships. Pershing's constantly asking questions to give us, the audience, more of an idea of basically what's happening, but the New Republic are decommissioning all their old ships and everything left over from the Empire, be it ships, tech, armor, weapons. It's probably all just being got rid of. Even if it's perfectly usable tech, it feels very much like the New Republic is whitewashing over this whole situation. And it's here in this shared housing area that Pershing meets Elia Kane, the comms officer from Moff Gideon. They strike up a friendship. It's actually quite charming, the connection between them and the interplay. I think she said she trained on Coruscant when she first joined the Empire. She was in the academy, and Pershing's clearly never been there. The bulk of the episode is focused on this. Very much feels like it's two very different episodes wrapped up into one, but it works. There's a sense of wonder from Pershing at everything on Coruscant, and it's brilliantly done, and it shows, again, us the audience, how his mind works, and he's starting to question things. A lot of his research was done on cloning, which has been outlawed by the New Republic, but he firmly believes that his experience and knowledge and research will be able to help the New Republic. He's looking at it from a very saviour point of view, medical advancements, how his cloning can be used to genetically splice the best elements from different donors with their permission. There's so many little things that you can glimpse from the little things that it shows us of him. And he just wants to help. So he enlists Kane to help him get some lab equipment, despite being told that this is outlawed. Kane leads Pershing to an old Star Destroyer in the Breaker's Yard, well outside of their designated area. Being there and having been granted amnesty, they're only allowed in certain places in the city. But he needed supplies, so they break in. It's a really interesting relationship building scene as they're walking through the Star Destroyer and they're talking about their brief experiences and how Kane would have walked past him 100 times and they never spoke to each other, they never introduced each other. It's really, really well done. And they get the supplies. And then they're caught by New Republic authorities. This is probably plot twist number 3. And the authorities let Kane go with the supplies. They arrest Pershing, and he's taken to a rehabilitation centre. It's in this centre that we find that Kane is praised for what she did and how she is a shining example of the good that can be done for somebody leaving the Empire. And how Pershing, who probably hasn't done a lot wrong in this situation, is seen as somebody who has relapsed from the program. This rehabilitation centre is a brainwashing facility. The New Republic are using Imperial tech to try and coerce people into their way of thinking. It's low level, as the doctor, surgeon, the Mon Calamari who is administering the procedure to Pershing tells him, but it's still exceptionally sinister and very Imperial. Now, for plot reasons, Kane is allowed to stay and watch this low-level procedure alone, where she turns the dial to 11, hinting that not only she is a double agent working for factions inside the New Republic, who who are maybe a bit more imperial, but also that whoever she's working for doesn't want Pershing to remember his cloning work. Or maybe they just don't want him alive. We don't know yet. And the last scene completely takes us away. And it's one that I think a lot of us have been waiting for. Din and Bo-Katan arrive at the Children of the Watch's convent, where Din produces proof that he is bathed in the living waters, and he is redeemed. By necessity, Bo-Katan also bathed in these waters, because, you know, she saved him last week. And by chance hasn't removed her helmet yet, so she is accepted into the clan with the addendum that she can leave whenever she wishes. Now, I think it's fair to say we all expected something like this would happen, especially after last week, but it's a really good reunion scene. The other Mandos are cheering Din and welcoming Bo-Katan. My only nitpick is that wouldn't the Armourer and at least Paz Vizsla know who Bo-Katan was from the Death Watch days? Maybe there's more in this season that will dive into their potential relationships in the past. But I think this was a brilliantly done episode, and overall this is probably the best episode of The Mandalorian we've had in terms of story progression and what's going on in the wider world of Star Wars in this time frame. This episode finally puts to bed the whole apostate situation, and with the sinister events happening on the capital of the New Republic, we're starting to get an idea of where this series is going to go. I want more of this. It's a well-crafted episode. It blends the right amount of politics and intrigue with action. The pacing was excellent. The longer runtime clearly helped and made it feel a little bit more worthwhile. We had a rocky start, but this episode has pulled me back in, and I'm actually excited about what might happen next week. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to the Voice of Todd for more, and check out Todd Plays Games, the home of all my Let's Play content. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.